Kristine Sa xin trân trọng kính chào quý khán thính giả thân thương của đài truyền hình SBTN đến với chương trình Heart to Heart trong ngày hôm nay. Kính thưa quý vị, cho Kristine Sa xin phép giới thiệu người khách mời đặc biệt của chúng tôi hôm nay, anh nghệ sĩ TRUSIVE.
And we're here. So honestly, the reason that I have you here, as you read in my email, is that you're one of the most openly gay and like fabulous person I know.
Thank you.
And I wanted to get into the mind and the heart of TRUSIVE.
TRUSIVE.
Yeah, TRUSIVE, who you call yourself the #1 geisha.
In America.
Gay, as in like gay Asia, geisha.
Exactly.
You know, it's I would imagine it's very difficult to be so out like that, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, I want to clarify that when I call myself the #1 geisha in America, I'm not here to say that I'm the prototype for what a typical gay Asian is supposed to, be like. I'm just here trying to capture my vision and, who I am and put it out there for the world to interpret in that way. So I want to make TRUSIVE to be known as the name, the face, the attitude around my artistry. So that's really, I think what TRUSIVE is all about, or when I came up with that. And
I see. Yeah. So it's like it's so Vietnamese. We're speaking today in English because it's just more comfortable for us that way.
TRUSIVE muốn xin lỗi quý vị. TRUSIVE không biết nói tiếng Việt rất là hay quá mà chỉ chút xíu thôi but I'm sure you'll have subtitles.
Một chút xíu thôi mà dễ thương phải không quý vị? Rất là dễ thương phải không? Okay, so babe, what I want to ask you about actually here is the first thing I wanted to know is, since you're just so fabulously openly gay, how long have you known that you're gay?
Honestly, this might shock some people, but I actually kissed my first 2 boys in preschool,
That's more than a girl could say.
And let me tell you what, we were playing some kind of children's game. I think it was hide and seek or something, but apparently the rules are a little different. and it just happened. I'm not talking about like an intimate French kissing kind of kiss. I'm just talking about fun lip locking. And so therefore, I think that it's safe to say that I've always known as a child that there was something different about me, but I just never knew what it was at that time. So, of course, later on, I eventually dealt with it more growing up. So,
Is it? Are you nervous right now, having to talk about this?
No, I guess I'm just so comfortable with it right now. I'm more of an open book, because I really don't have anything to be ashamed of. So I've spent my life hiding so much, and and when it came out, I made up for lost time. But now I'm just at that point in my life where I'm comfortable, and it takes a lot to knock me down or to get me down, and I don't let that at all affect me. So I'm pretty much open. I'm very confident, and I'm not ashamed of anything to talk about it.
Wow, very nice.
I love being GAY. I love being fabulous. I love being fierce.
You are definitely fierce. We have to say it like that, huh?
Fierce.
Fierce.
Girl, work!
Oh yes you is. I'm touched. Oh yeah you is. I'm touched. You know you is. I'm touched. Oh yeah. I'm touched.
I went to school, and we all know that being a teenager is already difficult. But being a gay teenager was like, in school, was like torture, because I remember just like, I dreaded gym class. I dreaded gym class because I was always picked last, and I was praying, oh my God, don't throw the ball at me. I'm not the most athletic, but not that they ever would. But there were times I remember hiding in the bathroom just so I didn't have to, attend gym class, because I was that fearful of it, because I was fearful of standing in front of the classroom and speaking, because they would make fun of the way that my gay speaking voice, and I was afraid to go into the cafeteria because, they would talk behind my back, even though they're sitting like right there, that close next to me. And the fact is that they would talk so loudly that obviously you could hear them talking about you. And I remember,
well, they're trying to hurt you, probably.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I remember walking down the hallways and having the jocks walk directly behind me and harassing me and calling me fag and just making fun of everything, the way I walked, the way I dressed. And for the few gay people that actually came out in school. I mean, I saw them getting into fights and they had to defend themselves. Unfortunately for me, I never had to fight or physically defend myself or be physically harmed because I was gay. But the fact is that I was just, it scared me. Like, I hated school back then because of that. And I got to that point where, you know, I was just so angry with the world and so angry with God and so angry with myself because they spend so much time trying to break you down to the point where you start believing their hatred, because I hated who I was back then, you know? And because I was so angry with God, I wanted to, some days I remember I just wanted to ball up into a corner and cry. But the fact is that even if I was crying, I would never, ever say the reason why I was crying, because I was gay. You know, I just couldn't, I didn't want, you know, no one chooses to be singled out and no one chooses to be mistreated. And, you know, who in their right mind would ever want to choose such a harsh experience, you know? And
Did you hate being gay then?
I didn't. I hated myself. I think I hated, yeah, I can say yes, I hated because it brought me so much pain, you know? I did not choose to be gay. I was born this way. God made me who I am with love, you know? And I guess what I realize now, and what I want other kids out there, gay kids out there, to realize is you are not what they make you out to be. You are who you want to be, you know? If you want to be fabulous, if you want to be fierce, if you want to be out and proud, then be it, embrace it, and it comes full circle, and the confidence will come afterwards once you just are okay with it.
What if they don't know that they want to be out and proud? They just want to be gay. I mean, just be, you know?
Just be. I mean, there are more outgoing gays, and there are more the butch kind that can pass for straight acting. Of course, obviously for me, I'm
such terminology. Such terminology, the butch kind.
Yes, I'm very obvious. So it was very hard for me to hide who I was, and even if I didn't want to accept it, you know, it's just I couldn't. I mean, they told me what I was, you know, and at the time when I even didn't know who I was and I didn't accept it. But the fact is that you can be whatever you want to be. If you want to be, you know, just gay and live your life, fine, you know, but at the same time, I hope gay kids, you know, the butch gays don't look down upon the more feminine or the more fabulous outgoing, because, you know, we live in such a world where people are always attacking each other and bullying and everything like that. We don't need to be against each other, like the butch gays against the more feminine gays, you know.
There shouldn't be any kind of discrimination,
exactly, at all.
if you ask me, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think, just be what you want to be.
Yeah. Trusive, I know that I sent you an email with questions, but I have one right now as you're talking that's not on our list, and I want to know how you feel about, in the news recently, there are a number of teenage kids that have been hurt, beaten, and have passed away just from the discrimination of them being gay. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, there's so much bad in the world, and so much like worse things that people could go through and can happen to somebody, and just to take someone's life because of who they fall in love with, and that's out of their control because God made them like that. It breaks your heart. It literally breaks my heart that somebody had to take their own life because they were in that much pain. Because society or someone decided to make them belittle them to the point in which they felt like they were worthless, not even worth living. I mean, who wants to live in a world like that? You know, we're all raised to treat people the way they want to. You want to be treated. So, I blame the parents who did not raise their children, because you learn from your parents. You know, and sometimes I pray for those people. I pray for the ones that lost loved ones, but I pray for those people that are so ignorant, and that one day they will be able to love themselves in order to love others.
Mm-hmm. It's possible that they are hating themselves and just portraying it on someone else, right?
You know, I have to say that back then, I felt sorry for myself, you know, because of what I was feeling and going through at the time. But now as an adult and I look back, I feel sorry for those people who made my life a living hell, you know, because I'm sorry that they needed people like me to feel better about themselves. So.
Well, I'm not gay, but I do have a piece of relating. If I could just share with you, just a couple of weeks ago I shared with the audience too a secret that I've kept for a long time.
Your disability, I watched that.
Yeah, and that is that I've had polio and I've been paralyzed since a little girl, and I had the same kind of treatment. I would walk through, and gym class was my worst nightmare. Worst nightmare, because if we played tag and I was it, the game's over. I'm it for the entire game. I can't limp after everybody. But I feel like a lot of us go through this, whether it be homosexuality, a disability, or any other thing that may seem different, right? If only we could change it so that we could love these differences.
Exactly. And I want to tell and you mostly see the pain from all these differences in high school or middle school, high school growing up, but you know, because it's all about cliques. You know, it's true, it's all about fitting in. But what I want the kids to realize in high school is that when you get to college,
that goes away.
That goes away. It's all about individuality.
And when you get to real life after college, you better be yourself.
You better work. You better work that fabulousness.
Exactly, because if you're just like someone else, you will be forgotten.
You're just another face in the crowd, and you don't want to be just another face in the crowd. Okay?
Absolutely not.
You spent too much time on this. Okay.
I love you too for this. I really do. I really do.
I love me too.
True, I know that you, okay, so you've gone to school for cinematography, right? So you've gone to film school, and I know that you're an artist, a pretty well-rounded artist. You do film, you do music, you do photography. You also model, of course. I can go on and on and on. So for the time being, I'll just call you the artist, TRUSIVE. But I want to know, the fact that you are gay, how much does that influence your art?
It has everything to do. It has everything to do with what I do, who I am, and what I like to put out there, and what I want people to see and know about TRUSIVE. You know.
I'm very glad you're talking about Superstar because I have it in my hand.
Oh yeah, and I want to let you know I also creative directed all the entire album art too.
Well, I knew this already because I know you, TRUSIVE, and I know that you do everything. I have to say. So I went through the pictures and I went through the music, and I have to say that when I turned it on, especially your singles, what I wanted to do when I hear the music is walk a runway.
Yes! Superstar was written, the title track for the album was written specifically for the runway.
For the runway. I felt like I am a model, no matter how tall, short, big or small I am. I felt like I'm a model and I'm going to walk this runway.
You got to do you know, and with the Get Down, which is going to be the second single out in August, and that one, I wrote that one all about independence and being in control and having a good time and loving yourself and just going out there and, like I said, work.
I know you've probably answered this next question already, but I'm going to ask it anyway. TRUSIVE, you as the artist, what is the message that you want to send through your music, your work, your art? What is that one message that you want people to know from the #1 geisha
in America? I want people to know, really, is that don't limit yourself, you know. if you feel that you deserve it and you work hard for it and you'll fight for it and you'll bleed for it, then do it, you know. And I want to, through my music, through my pictures, through everything, is that take all of that negativity and make something beautiful. Create art from it that is representation of you, of who you are, and that you are a superstar. You are a superstar. I don't care how big, how small you can be, you know. You are not what they make you out to be. You are who you want to be because you can. And I know just what I want, and I know just who I am. So I'm TRUSIVE. I'm the name, the face, the attitude, and I want to be the #1 geisha in America because I'm fierce. Oh.
Walking to flashing lights, the party's just begun tonight.
Just in the nick of time.